Joe Burrow and the Bengals just beat Baltimore by over 20 points. How the heck did this happen? Well, let's find out.
Tate on the move, blocked by Williams, long pass downfield, and there he goes, Uzama!
Going into the season, the Bengals were looking to be a pretty solid team with a potential Pro Bowl year out of Joe Burrow. Although they had O-line problems the previous season, they decided to pick up Riley Reif and draft Jackson Carman out of Clemson in order to bolster the line a bit. Even though they didn't draft Penei Sewell like many thought they would, they were still able to get what looked to be the most talented wide receiver in the draft in Jamarr Chase. Not only was Jamarr just a stud, but a former teammate of Joe, and so the two had a connection from the beginning. Although there were concerns about Jamar's drops throughout the preseason, once he got into the swing of things, he was back in business. Not only just that, but his quarterback was looking pretty confident and super ready to get back on the football field following a season-ending injury the previous year. Throughout training camp and the preseason, Joe was still rehabbing and getting prepared to do his thing for the first time in nearly a year. Well, the time finally came in week 1, and they did pretty well. Joe's first game since the injury was against the very interesting Minnesota Vikings, and seemed to be the perfect setup for a solid rebound. From the get-go, Joe looked pretty dang good, and finished the game with over 250 yards and 2 touchdowns as the team won 27-24 in OT. Just like most, if not all Bengals games, the game went into overtime, but this time it went Cincinnati's way as they started off the year 1-0. Not only was Joe able to do his thing, but his bud and Jamarr had over 100 yards and a touchdown in his first game with the team. Upon that, the rushing game was on timing, with Mixon rushing for over 120 yards and a touchdown. Following the strong start, the team was looking to string together another win against Chicago. Although it didn't seem like the toughest matchup, Joe and the team struggled quite a bit, and were even down 20-3 with under 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter. If you're curious about how they got to that point, just 3 straight interceptions by Joe, back to back to back. Even with the rough string of picks, Joe was still able to score 2 touchdowns within 1 minute of each other and bring the game within 3. Although it was impressive, it was not enough to get them the win as the game ended a few minutes later and the Bengals were 1-1. Following the disappointment, Joe went into Pittsburgh with a desire to prove himself and did his thing. My man only had to throw the ball 18 times to have 3 touchdowns and win the game 24-10. Once again, Jamarr Chase ate with over 60 yards and 2 touchdowns on only 4 catches. It looked like the team was back going into Jacksonville, and although Joe passed for nearly 350 yards and 2 touchdowns, the game was much closer than it should have, as the Bengals only won 24-21. Heading into week 5 against Green Bay, the Bengals faced their toughest matchup of the season, and although Joe passed for nearly 300 yards and 2 touchdowns, his 2 picks, and especially the one in OT, kept them from closing the game out as they lost 25-22 in overtime. Even though Joe struggled, his LSU bud in Jamarr was on fire with over 150 yards and a touchdown to prove that he was just an absolute unit. Nonetheless, you could probably guess that Joe was pretty mad that he lost such a close game to as good a team as Green Bay. So going into the following week against Detroit, he went off. Over 250 yards and 3 touchdowns was enough to steamroll the Lions 34-11. And showed just how much the Bengals had improved from the previous year. If the same game happened in 2020, it probably would have been much closer, but the fact that it was a blowout proved that they were on another level. Although it was a pretty good win, going into Baltimore, it was looking to be a rough day against a team that just ran over the Chargers, but that was not the case.
1st and 10. Good block by Mixon. And going deep for Chase, he's got it!
Somehow the Bengals were able to steamroll the Ravens, and Joe had arguably his best game of the season, with over 400 yards and 3 touchdowns against what seemed to be one of the best defenses in football. Not only was Joe on timing, but my man Jamarr went off with over 200 yards and a touchdown of his own. I really don't get how the Bengals had their best game to date versus a 5-1 Ravens unit, but they sure did, and are now looking dangerous. I mean, what team rolls into Baltimore and wins by over 20? Well, I guess the Bengals. Hey, by the way, if you're enjoying the video, it'd be awesome if you guys could subscribe. But anyways, back to the vid. As of right now, the Bengals are at the top of the AFC North for the first time in what seems like forever, and they're playing like they deserve to be there. Joe Burrow is doing his thing with nearly 2,000 yards and 17 touchdowns, along with only 8 picks, on a 5-2 Bengals team that has more wins in only 7 games this year than all of last season. Needless to say, the team is much better than before, and are now looking to cause some damage in a very interesting AFC. A major reason as to why they are so dangerous this year is the frontrunner for Offensive Rookie of the Year in Jamarr Chase. Not only is Jamarr Chase looking like the best rookie wide receiver, but he is looking like one of the best wide receivers in football. His over 750 yards and 6 touchdowns are impressive enough, but upon that, his over 21-yard average is ridiculous in only his first year. At his current pace, he could have over 1,800 yards and 14 touchdowns in what could be one of the best rookie seasons of all time. Although it would typically take a while for some college studs to do their thing on the next level, it seems like the two are already on the same page and are now forming one of the most dangerous duos in the league. It must be great for Joe to have someone who can do pretty much anything all over the field, and it has allowed the offense to flourish unlike any time before. Not only are they killing it on one side of the ball, but the defense has stepped up time and time again to allow for the team to actually win football games. It's looking like the Bengals have what it takes to go up against the best of the best and actually win. How is this possible? I don't even know. But let's just say it's fun to watch unfold. Anyways, what do you guys think about Burrow and the Bengals? Are they actually good, or are they just getting lucky? Nonetheless, Joe Burrow and Jamarr Chase are rolling over teams time and time again, and it has me excited to see what's next.
Good blocking on the screws. Chase found the. Oh, there he goes!
Thanks for watching the video. If you guys enjoyed, it'd be awesome if you all could subscribe, like, and comment down below what stuff you want next. But anyways, see you fellas soon, and peace out.